Yes, Europe is a garden. We have built a garden. Everything works. It's the best combination of political freedom, economic prosperity, and social cohesion that the humankind has been able to build. The three things together. And here Bruges may be the good representation of beautiful things, intellectual life, well-being. The rest of the world, and you know very well, Federica, is not exactly a garden. The rest of the world, most of the rest of the world is a jungle. And the jungle could invade the garden. And the gardeners should take care of it.
Heraclitus. There is nothing permanent except change. This applies to music and the harmony of the world.
Before Europe became a garden, the earth was once a garden, and the people of this garden were one, because they all spoke one language. Many people have discussed language and what it represents in man's mind and collective consciousness. But what exactly is language? A quick look in a Western dictionary will define language in two ways. First, the principal method of human communication consists of words used in a structured and conventional way and conveyed by speech, writing, or gesture. Second, a system of communication used by a particular country or community. These are mere technical terms and do not define the essence of the word. The word language has a deep and esoteric meaning that is not privy to the masses and beyond their basic understanding of things. The word language is a portmanteau of two words, land and gardage. Land is labeled as the part of the earth's surface that is not covered by water, as opposed to the sea or the air, and is a noun. Land can also be a verb, as in the case of a plane or ship that is about to land or has landed. Gardage is a historical term that refers to two things. First, wardship, the act of protecting or guarding something, especially a ship or cargo, from damage or theft. A ship's captain is responsible for the guardage of the cargo, ensuring that it arrives safely at its destination. Second, guardianship, the legal responsibility of caring for someone or something, such as a minor or an estate. After the death of his parents, the young boy was placed under the guardage of his uncle, who became his legal guardian. The GU in the word language is a phenomenon between English and French, where GU is normally, or because of Normandy, a W in French, due to the relationship between the languages. Therefore, gauge or wage is a compaction of guardage or wardage, which is to secure, operate, and control. Language is a means of securing, operating, and controlling a natural or unnatural system. The foundation of the earth and the universe is based on language. This language is the universal language of vibration, sounds, and frequency, ordered by the muses automatically as music. The language of the garden and the language of the universe is music. Music is the language of all languages, and all languages are based on music.
Plato. Music is a moral law. It gives soul to the universe, wings to the mind, flight to the imagination, and charm and gaiety to life and to everything.
Music is considered the language of all languages for several profound reasons. drawing from its unique characteristics and universal appeal. It exists in every known culture, transcending geographical, linguistic, cultural, and social boundaries. It allows people to communicate emotions, stories, and ideas without the need for words. Every society has developed its own musical traditions, demonstrating music's deep-rooted presence in human life. It conveys emotion and moods universally. A piece of music that evokes sadness, joy, or excitement in one culture can have a similar effect in another, even if the listeners do not share a common spoken language. This phenomenon is because music communicates through sound, rhythm, and melody, which are the source of words and all of existence.
Albert Einstein. If I were not a physicist, I would probably be a musician. I often think in music. I live my daydreams in music. I see my life in terms of music.
Music can express complex emotions and ideas that can be difficult or impossible to articulate through spoken or written language. Musical performance often involves body language and facial expressions, which add layers of meaning and can be universally understood. Philosophers like Victor Hugo have noted,
Victor Hugo. Music expresses that which cannot be put into words and that which cannot remain silent.
it allows for the articulation of complex feelings and thoughts that verbal language may fail to convey. Many ancient cultures viewed music as divine, as a mystical language connecting humans to the spiritual realm or the cosmos. This idea persists in many spiritual and religious practices today.
Plotinus, music, the greatest good that mortals know, and all of heaven we have here below.
Philosophers like Pythagoras and Plato saw music as a reflection of the harmonious order of the universe. They believed that music could reveal deeper truths about existence and the human condition. Music often uses metaphor and symbolism, much like language. These elements convey complex cultural and personal narratives without needing a literal translation. Listening to or participating in music creates a shared experience and sense of community, similar to how language can unite people through shared stories and ideas. Music has a unique ability to evoke and amplify emotions. It can make us feel joy, sorrow, excitement, or peace, often more profoundly than any other forms of art or communication. Music gets deep into the soul of every human and is a therapy in therapeutic fields that uses music to address emotional, cognitive, and social needs. It reduces stress, improves mood, and aids in the healing process.
William James. I don't sing because I'm happy because I sing.
Music engages multiple areas of the brain, including those involved in emotion, memory, and motor control. This widespread neural activity helps explain why music can evoke strong emotional responses and memories, and serve as a powerful trigger for memories, helping individuals recall specific moments or feelings from their past. Music therapy demonstrates music's ability to communicate and heal, especially in individuals with language impairments or neurological conditions. Listening to music and playing music can enhance cognitive abilities, including spatial temporal skill, verbal memory, and creativity. This underscores its ability to reach people on a fundamental, non-verbal level.
Rumi. Music is the language of the spirit. It opens the secret of life, bringing peace, abolishing strife.
Music encompasses all fields of science, medicines, physics, and mathematical principles based on rhythm, harmony, and frequency. Its precision allows it to communicate ideas in a structured and universally comprehensible way. The patterns in music can be universally recognized and appreciated, providing a sense of familiarity and understanding even when the cultural context is different.
Ludwig van Beethoven. Music is a higher revelation than all wisdom and philosophy.
Before the fall of man, all beings on the planet spoke music and could communicate with people from any culture. They knew the songs of the birds, heard music in the rain, and felt the emotions of the heavens. Many spiritual traditions consider music a pathway to the divine or a means to experience the sacred. For instance, chants, hymns, and spiritual songs are integral to religious ceremonies and practices. Music can induce meditative states, facilitating spiritual experiences and a sense of oneness with the universe.
Pythagoras. There is geometry in the humming of the strings. There is music in the spacing of the spheres.
The idea of music of the spheres, proposed by Pythagoras and later by Boethius, suggests that the universe is structured in a harmonious order akin to musical relationships. This reflects the belief that music embodies the fundamental harmony of existence.
Boethius. Music is a part of us and either ennobles or degrades our behavior.
In his treatise, The Institutia Musica, Boethius echoed these Platonic views. He believed that music holds significant ethical power and can ennoble or degrade behavior, depending on its nature and use. This reflects Plato's idea that music is not merely entertainment, but a crucial element in shaping the ethical and moral standards of individuals and society. Boethius was a philosopher, theologian, and Goth whose work significantly impacted medieval education and thought. His views on music, as reflected in the quote, highlighted the profound influence he believed music has on human character and morality. His philosophy on music is primarily outlined in his influential work, The Fundamental of Music. This treatise became a cornerstone of medieval music theory and education. His treatise explained the three types of music. First of the three types is musica mundana. This is the harmonious order of the universe. Boethius believed that the movements of celestial bodies, planets, and stars create a form of music inaudible to human ears, but reflecting a divine order. Musica humana. This refers to the harmony within the human body and soul. Boethius asserted that a proper balance between the body's elements and the soul's faculties results in a harmonious and virtuous life. Musica instrumentalis. This is the music produced by instruments and the human voice. Boethius regarded this as the lowest form of music because it is perceived through the senses, but it is still essential for understanding the higher forms of music. Boethius' Fundamental of Music became a fundamental text to the quadrium in medieval education, which included arithmetic, geometry, music, and astronomy. His work helped to preserve and transmit ancient musical theory, particularly the ideas of Pythagoras and Plato, to the medieval and Renaissance worlds. He saw music as a bridge between the sensory and the spiritual, reflecting the divine order and harmony of God's creation. Boethius was a Christian, and his works were influential in the development of medieval scholasticism, which aimed to reconcile Christian theology with classical philosophy. His views on music's moral and ethical influence were aligned with the Church's perspective. Boethius was executed by Gothic King Theodoric the Great, who accused him of conspiracy. After his death, Boethius was regarded as a martyr by Western Christian traditions, and his philosophical works were highly influential within the church. His views were later disposed of, and music was weaponized by the church and the Western world under the guidance of the Benedictine monks. Led by Guido of Arezzo, an Italian Benedictine monk who lived during the 11th century, Guido of Arezzo made significant contribution to music theory and education, including the creation of a system to teach sight singing and pitch notation that became the foundation for modern solfège. Guido introduced a 6-note scale, hexachord, with syllables ut, re, mi, fa, sol, la. These syllables were derived from the initial syllables of each half line of the Latin hymn, ut quaint laxis, which was used to teach these notes.
Ut quaint laxis. Resonare fibris, mira gestorum. Famolitorum, solve polluti, labiriatum.
Each line of the hymn starts on a successive note of the hexachord, 6th chord, allegedly to make it easier for singers to learn the pitches. Guido also developed the Guidonian hand, a mnemonic device where each joint of the hand represents a specific note. This allowed singers to visualize the notes and intervals of the scale, aiding in learning and memory. Over time, the solfège system was expanded to include the 7th degree of the scale, with C added later to complete the diatonic scale. In some traditions, ut was replaced with do for ease of singing, resulting in modern solfège syllable do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, or si, and do for the octave.
Lao Tzu. Music in the soul can be heard by the universe.
Do is the letter C, the moon, the foundation of Eden and spiritual home of all. It represents the root, grounding, and stability associated with the physical body and the material world. It symbolizes beginning, the foundation of existence, and the connection to the earth. Re is the letter D, the hand of God and the powers of the waters of the earth and womb. It represents the feminine principle of God and creation, movement, change, and transition. It is associated with creativity, energy, drive, and the journey of life. Me is the letter E, the feminine, the self, and the ego. It represents the negative nature of the creative power, self-awareness, and consciousness. It is associated with personal power, identity, and self-esteem from the internal and external integration of self. Fa is the letter F and represents the masculine aspect of the divine power and the family, the positive nature of the glory of creation, the heart, emotion, and compassion with relationship, love, and harmony, symbolizing the connection between the physical and the spiritual realms. Soul is the letter G. The sun is the governor and maintainer of order and represents communication and expression. It symbolizes truth, clarity, and wisdom transmitted through the power of voice and vibration. La, the letter A, represents man, Adam, and the fall of man. La is the 6th note of the scale and represents a time for reflection. It is a time to go inside and seek intuition, inner vision, for higher thinking, awareness, and spiritual insight. T is the letter B. T is for trial and tribulation that will occur because of the fall. This symbolizes a time for spiritual awakening and transformation through persecution, the final step before reaching a new level of understanding and redemption, the culmination of a journey, and the preparation for a new cycle. Some esoteric tradition also align these solfège syllables with the chakras, colors, and healing frequencies. For instance, specific solfège tones are believed to resonate with and balance the body's energy centers, promoting physical and emotional well-being. In these circles, Do is the root chakra and bears the color red. Re, the sacral chakra, and bears the color orange. Mi, the solar plexus chakra, bears the color yellow. Fa is the heart chakra and bears the color green. Sol is the throat chakra and bears the color blue. La, the third eye chakra, bears the color indigo. And Ti, the crown chakra, the crown of thorns, bears the color violet. Each chakra and solfège is linked to a mode. A mode is defined by its specific arrangement of whole steps and half steps within an octave. These intervals give each mode its characteristic sound. The pattern of intervals creates a unique sound for each mode, influencing the mood and character of the music. The 7 diatonic modes are derived from the major Ionian scale, C major diatonic scale. Each mode has a tonic or tonal center, which is the note that serves as the home base or starting point of the mode. The Ionian mode is a major scale and have the characteristic of bright and happy. The Dorian mode is a minor scale and has the characteristic of a minor sound with a raised 6 degree, giving a somewhat jazzy feel. The Phrygian mode is a minor scale and has a minor sound with a flat 2nd degree, giving it a Spanish or Eastern sound. The Lydian mode is a major scale with a major sound with a major 4th degree, providing a dreamy or bright quality. The Mixolydian mode is a major scale with a major sound with a major flat 7th degree, giving it a bluesy or rock feel. The Aeolian mode is a natural minor scale, natural minor sound often used to express sadness or melancholy. And the 7th mode, the Locrian mode, is a diminished scale with a diminished sound with a flat 2nd and 5th degree, giving it a tense and unstable quality. What the church didn't tell anyone was that Latin, the church's foundational language, was created and maintained by music. Latin is the 6th of the 7 modes of communication, which the church also misidentified as the 7th religion or churches. Latin was achieved by the church under the Benedictine monks, who took the 6 musical solfège, La, which is the note A and represent man, Adam, Abraham, Alexander, King Arthur, Abel, and Alpha. Alpha as in the alphabet, because that is what Latin is, the alphabet, or the 6th mode of language. The Benedictine monks were masters of language and music, and had full knowledge of the frequencies and properties of music and language. Guido first introduced a 6-note scale, hexachord, with 6 syllables, because the church limited music and controlled its power and influence for its own benefit. The name Guido is also the name guide, which reflects that his findings and settings became the guide to the West and the church. Latin is the 6th note, that was first built on a 6-scale system that reflected the nature and power of the 6th mode.
Ralph Waldo Emerson. Music takes us out of the actual and whispers to us dim secrets that startle our wonder as to who we are and for what, whence, and where to.
The number 6 is often associated with imperfection and the material world. It is one step short of the number 7, which is frequently considered a number of spiritual completeness and divine perfection in the Western world. Therefore, 6 symbolizes a state of incompleteness or imperfection and is associated with the sexual organ, the lower nature of man. In Christian esotericism, 6 is linked to the concept of the fall of man and human sinfulness. This association comes from the biblical creation story, where man was created on the 6th day, and the fall of man introduced imperfection and sin into the world. Esoterically, 6 represent the challenges and temptations of the worldly life, including the struggle with material desire and attachments. This idea aligns with the notion of the fall as a departure from spiritual purity and unity. The symbolism of 6 as the fall is known as the stage in human existence where one grapples with the imperfection and challenges of the material world, caught in the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth, dealing with earthly temptations and the struggle to rise above them. This is why 6 are La, as in Los Angeles, or the lost angels, represent the fallen ones, those who from heaven came, with Latin, the language of the fall. 6 is opposite to 9, which represent man in his honor and glory. The number 9 is seen as the mind, as it is the last single-digit number and is often seen as a number of completion and fulfillment. It represents the end of a cycle and the attainment of wisdom or enlightenment. In numerology and esoteric thought, 9 is associated with higher consciousness, universal love, and the collective mind. It symbolizes a broad, enlightening perspective that transcends individual concerns and connects with the greater whole. The number 9 is linked to humanitarianism and the desire to serve and uplift others. It embodies compassion, empathy, and a deep understanding of the interconnectedness of all beings. The symbolism of 9 as the mind can be seen as a stage of spiritual evolution, where one transcends material concern and reaches a state of higher consciousness. It embodies the wisdom, compassion, and enlightenment that come with understanding the deeper truths of existence and one's connection with the universe. In music, the number 9 is relative to the number 2, which is Re, D, the hand of God, and perfectly fits with the mind. We reverse its nature by turning 9 upside down to create a 6. Just as a nation's flag flown upside down symbolizes distress and a fallen state, the number 6 and La in Latin, being the reverse of 9, mean the same. By tuning the Earth's language system to the 6th note, the West and the Church changed the planet's frequency, and every human being who uses an alphabetical language system is under the system and influence of the language of the fall, Latin. The Church celebrated, then turned on Boethius, who translated works by Aristotle, Pythagoras, and Plato that made clear the serious nature of music and its effects upon man and society. Plato believed that music profoundly impacted an individual's soul and character. He argued that music affects emotions and can either harmonize or disrupt the soul's balance. According to Plato, Different types of music can evoke different responses and shape one's character and behavior. Similarly, a mode of music or language can influence and change the emotions and well-being of the listener. In Plato's view, music is not just an art form, but a powerful ethical force. He maintained that certain musical modes and rhythms could promote virtuous behavior, while others could encourage vice. For instance, harmonious and orderly music was seen as fostering virtues like courage and temperance, whereas dissonant and chaotic music could lead to negative traits such as indulgence and disorder. Plato's work, The Republic, discusses the role of music in education and its impact on the ideal society. He argued that music should be carefully regulated and selected to ensure it promotes the right virtues among the citizens. Plato proposed that the education of the young should include music that nurtures the soul and supports the development of a just and harmonious individual and society.
Plato, music is the movement of sound to reach the soul for the education of its virtue.
Because of its powerful influence, Plato suggested that the state should exercise control over music to ensure it contributes positively to the moral and ethical fabric of society. He advocated for the censorship of music that could potentially harm individuals' moral development and disrupt societal harmony.
Nietzsche. Without music, life would be a mistake.
Armed with this information, the church was aware that tuning the language to La, Alpha, or Aeolian mode opened man's soul and created a void in his spirit, because the sixth note, La, is an A minor, which is mainly used to express sadness and melancholy, which is what the fall brought to the world. Though Bob Marley, a legendary great of music, says,
One good thing about music, when it hits you, you feel no pain.
Music influences and controls our behavior and destiny so much more than we realize. We might not feel its pain instantly, but music hurts as much as it heals.
Aldous Huxley. After silence, that which comes nearest to expressing the inexpressible is music.